Okay, it's time for another tactical experience with Conflict of Heroes Awakening the Russian Bear, 2nd edition. And today I'm playing with the solo rules and I'm going to be generating a firefight with the generator. So, Awakening the Bear, using the superb solo rules, best in the business as far as I'm concerned in terms of solo AI, and the Firefight Generator, which is a great addition to the game as well. And I'm going to be using the Firefight guideline number 6, which is light armor and infantry firefight. So I'll be generating that firefight in the next few minutes, and I will come back to you with the outline for the battle. See you shortly. Okay, I've generated the firefight and here is the situation. The AI will be the Soviets, and they'll be playing on a defense generated mission. And the battlefield looks like this. The Soviets will be entering from the right hand side. I'll be coming in from the other side. There was some random terrain placed down. The Soviets have got, in particular, 4 trenches along their line, and as part of their victory conditions, if they, at the end of the firefight, occupy any trenches, they get 2 VP for each trench occupied. At the moment they've got a mortar unit in one of those trenches on the hill, and that mortar unit is a elite unit, which if the Germans destroy, they get an additional 4 VP. So that'll certainly be a target of mine. So that's the lay of the battlefield, and there are a couple of defensive positions on the German side of the battlefield. So looking at the victory conditions for the Germans, okay, I've chosen a German unit to become elite. That's a Panzer II, and that gets +3 for each Soviet unit it destroys. But that is actually negated somewhat by a special rule on the Russian side, which allows me to choose a unit type, and I've chosen rifles, and they don't attract victory points. So if the Germans destroy any of those units, they don't get victory points for them. In terms of other victory points for the Soviets, they get the trench ones. That's primarily all their victory points come from occupying those trenches, and the standard ones of destroying enemy units. Okay, let's take a look at the forces. So the Soviets have, as I mentioned a second ago, the mortar unit placed on the hill. They have 4 rifle squads. They have a Maxim MG machine gun squad, a submachine gun squad, a tank destroyer, and a light tank. So the tank destroyer could pose a problem for the Germans, who are fielding a mortar squad, a heavy machine gun squad, a light machine gun squad, a rifle squad, a light infantry gun, a half-track, and 2 light reconnaissance tanks, which could be at risk if they get in the line of sight of that tank destroyer. So I think it's a fairly evenly created game. Obviously my objective is to come on and ensure the Soviets don't occupy those units, those trenches at the end there. Now the AI may not particularly direct Soviet units into those trenches, so if I see that being the case towards the end of the game, I'll certainly be modifying the AI so that they do try and occupy trenches if it's in the best interest of the AI. Otherwise, the mission track is set up and ready to go. The mission orders are down. I've got my caps at 5, 4 plus the 1 generated by the cards. I've got a command action card there free, and I've built the orders deck, and my action cards are ready to draw if required. So, can I defeat the Soviets in this one? I found that the AI is very tough, and often at times when I think things are going well, the AI will just overwhelm me, which is pretty good. So be back with a situation report. Okay, the battle's been raging for a while now. Let's just take a look at what's developing here. As you can see on the right hand side, the AI have gotten all their units onto the battlefield. Infantry are advancing steadily towards the trenches that they are hoping to occupy, but at the moment the ones down here are all spent, and both the armoured units are now spent as well. The Germans initially got 2 armoured units, their 2 light tanks, onto the battlefield, but my main move early on was to use the half-track, and I brought on a rifle unit and a light machine gun unit, got them onto the hill with the half-track, and the light machine gun was then able to put out a field of fire into the advancing infantry, and actually took out 1 rifle unit. It doesn't score any points because of the special rule, but did a damn good job. The rifle unit has moved up onto the hill just next to it, 1 level below, and has also got a good field of fire there at the moment. The enemy tank has fired back at the hill, but with no effect. Subsequently, the half-track went back and picked up a heavy machine gun, and has brought that back up onto the hill, but is now spent at this point in time. But that's been a useful vehicle to get my infantry into the battle really quickly. So I've got a couple more units to get onto the field, and that's the light infantry gun and the mortar, and I'll be using the half-track to go back and get those very shortly. And I need to get these guys into the battle, particularly this unit here, because he's an elite unit that gets the VPs if he takes out enemy units. So I've probably been a bit remiss in not getting him into the battle quicker, but there's plenty of time for that as well. So far I think the battle has gone well for the Germans just in occupying this hill, but I do have to get into these trenches at some stage as well. So I'll come back to you later on. Okay, it's the end of the first round. Let's take a look at the battlefield, and you can see that the rifle unit of the Germans has occupied one of the trenches, and that the light tanks have advanced on the other trench, and they actually took hits, this infantry unit, but were able to rally. The machine gun has still got a good field of coverage over the area here. The Russians have occupied the other trenches, and other units, the mortar and the light infantry gun, are slowly making their way up the road, waiting for the half-track to come and pick them up. So the game is pretty even, with no victory points scored. It's quite a tight match at this point. That's the end of round 1. We'll start round 2 shortly and be back to you with an update. Okay, we are nearly at the end of the mission, round 5. So 1 more advancement and the mission is over. Currently I'm on, where are we? Down here, 6 victory points. And let's take a look at the situation on the battlefield. Well, what has happened is the Russians have ejected my rifle unit from this trench. They've reoccupied this trench, and they're currently occupying that trench. So at the moment, with our victory points, they are standing to receive 4 victory points if they remain in those trenches at the end of the battle, and they'll get 2 more for each of these if they can occupy them, those 2 remaining trenches. My elite panzer has been taken out. Quite a number of my units have been destroyed. My half-track is bringing up the infantry gun, but that's spent at the moment, and my mortar hasn't done too much on the hill up here at all, and sorry, my heavy machine gun hasn't done too much at the hill here, and the mortar back here is still coming into the battle. So yeah, it's getting a bit tight, because if they're able to occupy those trenches, then the game's going to be tied. And it was going my way quite strongly for a while there, so I'm going to have to get these guys into the action very quickly to get up to these trenches. We'll see how it goes. Okay, and the battle is over, and the Soviets picked up 4 points for occupying 2 trenches at the end of the battle, and it was a close run thing, with a win to me by 2 victory points to 0. Great battle, was excellent. Didn't manage to get some of my units into the fray, but again the AI just proved to be very tough, and yeah, the firefight that was generated was a great gaming experience. So I continue to reiterate how terrific this solo AI system is. Can't recommend it highly enough. Probably some of the best tactical wargaming I've played. Absolutely superb. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you later on.